45 seconds. This broadcast will start in 30 seconds. This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, The Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Good morning, Stocktonians, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tales and Tips. I'm so honored to have with me Jillian Murphy, who is the interim CEO of our Emergency Food Bank. Welcome, Jillian.
Thank you. So pleased to be here, Julie.
I'm so excited to have you here. It's wonderful to have you here today and talk to you about the food bank. Our background. There we go. Okay, now I can hear you. All right, welcome, Jillian. I'm so honored to have you here as the interim CEO of the Emergency Food Bank. And I'm excited as a board member and a community advocate. Everyone knows how pivotal the Emergency Food Bank is. And right now, during this difficult time, it's really important to have someone who has boots on the ground and knowledge of dealing with nonprofit and community issues. So I was so excited that you were coming on board.
Well, thank you. I was honored to be asked, Julie. Very honored.
Excellent. And what are your goals as the interim CEO?
Well, my goals are to take care of business as it is right now. This is obviously a very busy time for the Emergency Food Bank. So there's a lot of stuff that's being done on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, we have a great team. Every day, hungry people are being fed in Stockton at the Emergency Food Bank. So for that, I'm very grateful. But we also have a lot of other issues that are at hand, just some structural things that need to take place. We have issues with our walk-in refrigerator and a forklift truck. And so there are all those kinds of things that have to be taken care of, as well as, most importantly, though, is making sure that we feed persons who are waiting to get food at our doors.
Definitely. And as many people are aware, anyone in our county can come into the food bank twice a month. All you have to do is have an address in the county and you can get food, needed food to help you make it through the month.
It's exactly right, Julie. You know, you never know why someone is at our doors. Someone might come up in a relatively nice car and someone else might say, wow, why are they getting food? But you know what? We don't know what happened to them in the last few months. We don't know if they're living in their car. And by the way, we also don't know if they happen to be a volunteer on that day.
That's true too.
We don't judge. But yes, having a current address in San Joaquin County. And I love the way that we, in the best sense, distribute food now. I think it was Mike Donaghy that might have done it this way. I call it shopping. It's not shopping in the pure sense of the word, but when our clients come into the food bank, they get an opportunity to basically go down the line of food and they select what they're taking. Mm-hmm. It's not like you can go and say, I want 2 pounds of sugar or whatever that might be. But from what we have to offer on that particular day, they can select. So we would have a selection of canned goods. And if there's something in that selection that they don't use, then we can get them something else to replace that one. Mm-hmm. Same as they go down to dry goods. And a very important part of the food bank is to also really look at health and nutrition. And so we have a great variety of fresh produce. Everyone that comes in will then go away with at least 2 different kinds of vegetable and 2 different kinds of fruit. Very often milk, juice, eggs, and then protein.
And I think your point that you mentioned earlier was really important because it does no good to send someone home with items that they know they're not going to use. That's wasting precious resources that we have that are very limited. It makes more sense to take something for them to take something that they're going to utilize. And in the same token, we also have a lot of educational resources. We do cooking demonstrations and such, so that if people aren't aware of a particular vegetable and how to utilize it, how to prepare it, we teach them how to do that.
Right, and it may be that we are not teaching every vegetable every day, but absolutely, it's what we want to do. We want to make sure that that we can help people make affordable, nutritious meals.
Definitely.
And so they may not get everything to go with the meal at the day they come to the food bank, but our goal is that they will get a lot, so that they can still end up making a good meal for their family, and many meals actually for their family.
Definitely. So you mentioned earlier that this time of year is a really important year, and we have several events coming up. I'm going to have you highlight and talk about each of the activities that are coming up in the next couple months.
Sure. Well, lots happening. You know, I think the point, though, that should be made is that people are hungry 365 days of the year, or
Yes.
may be hungry 365 days of the year. You know, we have people who, and let me just go back on this just for a minute, that are coming to the food bank. Maybe it's toward the end of a pay period, and so that they might be making a choice of, they pay the rent, do they pay their utilities, they buy food. And so we're there to be able to, in many cases, help the working poor. And of course, we also have a lot of people who are on aid, who are not able to work, and so that we're also there to kind of fill that void. But around this time of the year, I think a lot of the community really comes out and are amazing, amazing supporters of the food bank. And so, yes, we have a number of activities that are happening. In fact, right now, at the two Safeways in Stockton, the one on Country Club and the one on Pacific Avenue, there's a Feed the Need program, so that as you go through and check out, you can pay, or you can donate a certain amount of money, which will go towards food that will go into bags from Safeway.
Awesome. Thank you, Safeway.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Safeway. And that's happening through the 19th. And then on Saturday the 19th, the Emergency Food Bank will be at the doors between 10 and 2, also greeting people and thanking them for their services and for their donations. With great thanks to RTD, we continue to have Stuff the Bus. They're amazing supporters. And by the way, I'm drinking out of an RTD cup today, so thank you,
perfect.
RTD. Stuff the Bus is going to be for 3 days. And this year we have 2 different locations, which I'm very excited about. The first one on Friday, the 16th of November, will be at Rancho San Miguel down on Charter Way. And then on the 17th and 18th, which is Saturday and Sunday, we will be at Food for Less on Hammer Lane. Again, really, the RTD staff does just about everything. We have volunteers and board members that will also be there, but RTD really take this on and is an amazing supporter. Again, the same way as Safeway is an amazing supporter of the food bank. So we're very grateful.
And people will purchase food to stuff the bus that we'll use for our food boxes.
Exactly. So, so that's exactly it. So on the 19th of November, we will have our first food box and turkey giveaway. So anybody with the San Joaquin County address, even if they've never come to the food bank, can come to the main pantry, which is on 7 West Scotts Avenue in downtown Stockton. And they can get a turkey. Any turkeys are probably going to be between 12 and 15 pounds or 16 pounds. And then a box of goodies that will, complement that and make a holiday meal for a large family. That then we will have a second food box giveaway, and that'll be in December, and that's December 20th. So we're hitting both holiday seasons with an amazing amount of food. We will give out more than 4,000 turkeys and 4,000 boxes of food. This only happens with amazing participation from donors, volunteers. It takes hundreds of people to make this happen. So we have people coming in a couple of weeks to help us build the boxes, and then there will be people there with us helping us to fill the boxes and then to distribute the boxes. We often have lots of students who help as runners to bring the boxes, so people are maybe unable to carry the boxes from the distribution site to their car. So we make sure that it's as nice as possible giveaway, and so that we can. It's an enjoyable time. It's a time to greet people. It's a time to say thank you to our volunteers. And it's a great show of respect to our community that we want to share holiday meals all throughout our community.
If people want to volunteer, can they call the food bank?
They can call the food bank, but even better, they can go online. So it means 24/7 you can volunteer for the food bank, which I'm delighted about.
Awesome.
So go on to the food bank, StocktonFoodBank.org, to the website. And there's a button right there. There's a button you can donate. There's a button you can volunteer.
Can we go back and just talk about the Stuff the Bus a little more? Can people drive up and bring items? Do they need to purchase items at Food for Less or Rancho San Miguel? And what items are you looking for?
Well, no, it doesn't matter where you buy them.
Okay.
Obviously, it's great when they're bought locally because right there, it's
Yes.
just,
It's
especially
convenient.
if it's convenient, and also the turkey is completely frozen. It goes into a frozen compartment, and then that evening we'll go back to our walk-in frozen refrigerator, or excuse me, freezer. So typically, I mean, we will accept all kinds of donations, obviously non-perishable. So the turkeys are the only perishable things that really make sense on something like that, is in order to keep things fresh. But think about what you might have on a holiday. So it might be a box of stuffing, it might be a box of instant potato, some vegetables, a pumpkin. So there are a bunch of things that...
Cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce is a great addition. Green beans, whatever you think that might make a good... that you would want to see on your holiday meal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. And the need is huge. Your point that you said earlier was very valid. I mean, in our city, unfortunately, 70% of people could be homeless if they miss a paycheck or 2 paychecks.
I mean, in fact, a huge percentage of our country are only 2 to 3 paychecks away from potentially being homeless. So it's pretty challenging.
Which is scary. And that just means the food bank is that much more important. And I encourage anyone listening to really help the food bank this holiday season so that everyone can have a Thanksgiving and a holiday season.
Yeah, it's really nice. Thank you. It's a great opportunity. And then we have one other event on Thanksgiving morning. As has been a tradition for many years here in Stockton, we have the Run and Walk Against Hunger. And that will be on Thanksgiving morning down. And it'll start and end at the Stockton Ports at Banner Island on Fremont Avenue. You can still register. You can register actually the day of the run. You can also register for the 3 days beforehand at Fleet Feet in Lincoln Center.
Thank you, Tony, who's one of our board members.
Yes, thank you, Tony. It's awesome because for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we will have volunteers on site, and so people can pick up their bibs. They can register if they want to, pick up their packets, so they don't have to, even if they pre-registered, so they don't have to pick up that packet on the morning of the run. Makes it a lot easier for them. For a run, it's a nominal fee. It's $40 to register, and yet it's a 5K run or walk or a 10K run or walk. But we also, as I said previously, we really care about healthy lifestyles. So we also have a 1/4 mile run for kids. And there's a $20 registration for that. Everybody will go away with a great shirt. And again, this run happens because of the amazing volunteerism that we have. Obviously, Tony is a huge lead for this. And also Pete Bernardino, who is a sergeant at the University of the Pacific, is chairing our run this year. And people like Ralph Womack, who's done it for years.
He always helps us, even though he says it's the last year. He always comes back and says, "What do you need? How can I help you?"
It's so wonderful. And so even though I haven't been at the food bank very long, I know these players, and I know that they have just such a huge commitment. And then thousands of people will run and walk on the morning of Thanksgiving. And what a great way to start your day. Not only are you helping your fellow residents and citizens, but you're starting your day, getting a good bit of exercise, then maybe it's not so bad what you sit down and eat later on during the day. You've earned it.
And people will volunteer. Christina Fugazi usually brings students out there. Many other people, some of our board members volunteer. We still need additional volunteers.
Yes, we're doing pretty well for the run right now, which is great because people do volunteer. We have people who sign up before we even ask them because they traditionally have done certain things. There are some students from Lincoln High that will be there at Fleet Feet taking in registrations and giving out T-shirts, etc. It's amazing. And we have phenomenal sponsors. The Michael David Winery is the title sponsor.
Awesome.
They have been amazingly generous to the food bank for many years. And as a title sponsor, they've just really just that support is phenomenal. But we have a huge number of other sponsors. And when you get that shirt, you'll see all those sponsors on the back. And I'd ask you to thank them. Just do business with them, thank them for the support of our community.
Do we have time for more sponsors if they want to put their name on that shirt?
Probably can't get them on the shirt anymore.
Okay.
No. But there are always other opportunities for sponsorships. Yeah.
there's different markers along the route and things like that.
Yeah. It's an exciting, fun day. I mean, it's just, and the great thing about living in Stockton is typically we also have great weather for that run.
And there's usually some music, some entertainment. We've had various karate groups come out. We've had drum groups come out. The excitement at that event is just phenomenal. And to see the kids do the run and they're so happy, they're so thrilled. And then to see the street just filled with a sea of people. And they're all there because they care about their health, but they care about the community and making a difference for people in need.
And you know what, Julie, also, it's a great opportunity. Friends get together and run as a group. Family members come out and run as a group. So you see parents, grandparents, kids. Yeah, it is. It's a great way to celebrate. And really, it's a way truly to celebrate the important holiday of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And it's giving thanks for each other, but it's also giving thanks for our community and for the services provided by the food bank. It's a major fundraiser for us.
And giving hope to someone else. And if you can't run, you stay in the back and you walk. And that's great too.
Exactly. And you can do the 5K walk.
Yes, definitely. And it's just an exciting event. And there's plenty of time to sign up. And once again, you can even sign up the day of Thanksgiving, the morning.
Absolutely.
What time will sign up begin on the morning of Thanksgiving?
The morning of Thanksgiving, you can start registering at 6:30 in the morning, and actually 6:30 to 8:25. And I'm looking at my notes now because I am new.
It's all good.
So the kids' quarter-mile run will start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the 5K and 10K run walk will start at 8:30.
Awesome.
But we'll have everyone gathered before that, and there'll be we'll have a chance to say thank you to the group, and Tony will be there giving directions. And
wonderful. Earlier, when we were talking about the box giveaway, I didn't ask you, can people sign up for that ahead of time, or do they just show up on that morning?
They just show up on that morning.
Okay. Yeah. How early can they?
That will be between 9 and noon, I believe, but actually it might start at 8 o'clock. And now there's a good question.
Okay, so they can call to the food bank and get more details on that.
Yeah, but for sure between 9 and noon for sure.
Okay.
It's there, but let me just. And so you can even come earlier. You can come at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, excellent. Because I think last year I remember people lining up a little bit ahead of time.
And people do line up, and we have not run out of food.
I'm glad you said that. That was going to be the comment that I made, that not to worry, that I've never known us to run out of food.
We have not. So now I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Thank you.
All right. So tell us why you decided that you wanted to be the interim CEO at the food bank.
Well, first of all, I was a very happily retired person. I had been retired for about 1.5 years after serving 27 years at Delta College, although I do teach one class a semester right now. And so actually I was asked by the board president. We met, and I really am a very happily retired person. But also Gary Putnam, my husband, and myself, we have been tangentially involved with the food bank for many, many years. We've been longtime donors.
Awesome.
I've done a little bit of volunteer work with the board in the past. And so it was an easier yes than it would have been for a lot of things. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm privileged to be there. And what I say to people is, from day one, I mean, I'm there about a month now, and day one, what I saw is that people were being fed every day. There's a good oil machine there. We have great staff, and we have a phenomenal office manager in Kathy Croce, and we have a phenomenal warehouse manager in Jimmy Garza.
Jimmy is amazing, and Kathy, both of them.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to bring you through a morning at the food bank, technically, some people, we might expect Jimmy to be there by 8 o'clock, but trust me, he's there way
much
before
earlier.
That. And he's moving stuff around, and you come into our warehouse and you think, wow, look at all that food. But you know what? Look at all that food, and that food is being given away every single day. Mm-hmm. And so that food turns on a regular basis. And I am so immensely grateful to the community. I mean, I'll go out on various days. You never know what's going to come. I mean, on one day, the protein might be hot dogs, typically frozen hot dogs, so that they can stay people can bring them home, put them back in the refrigerator. But 2 weeks ago, there were stuffed chicken breasts. Last week, there were small roast beef. We had organic eggs the other day. All of these eggs were dated through about the 20th of November. I checked the date because I was curious myself. So we're not giving away anything except good food, healthy food. And so we take what we get, and if we receive food that we're unable to use, then we have other partners that they can use that, and vice versa. I mean, I spent 22 years in economic development, and I always said that the economic development folks in San Joaquin County played well in the sandlot together. And I really see that happening too with a lot of our agencies.
Definitely.
People, from the day that I walked in the door, people reached out to me to say, what can we do to help? So people walk with us. And I think the food bank also walks with others.
Awesome.
And we should be stronger together than we are apart, and I believe we are.
It's a community effort, and I'm glad that you mentioned partners. There's also pantry partners.
We have 14 pantry partners throughout the county, which means we provide food to 14 other sites. So although we may be open Monday to Friday, 9 to noon, we have other sites that are open at different hours. And then we have we have a mobile farmers market program. And the mobile farmers market goes out, we have about 60 plus sites throughout San Joaquin County where we go and we bring fresh produce. Again, typically 2 types of vegetables, 2 types of fruits. And in some cases there are cooking demonstrations, so it depends on the site. But we do multiple cooking demonstrations throughout the month at different locations. And my second week there, I went on one of the mobile farmers market down to El Concilio in Tracy. And, so we're reaching out, which is very important. And for some people, it may be difficult for them to get those fresh fruits and vegetables closer to home. But they can come. We're not bringing other kinds of food. It literally is mobile farmers market. And we've had great support from the city and from other agencies to help us ensure that we can have that kind of food to distribute throughout the county.
And your point is so important about the fruit and vegetables and people not having access. Certain parts of Stockton are very much a food desert. Certain parts of the county are a food desert, where if someone doesn't have a car, they do not have a source to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables within walking distance from their home.
And for goodness sakes, I mean, we live in the land of plenty when it comes to agricultural goods. And if our people can't get access to agricultural goods, to fruits and vegetables, think about if you live in a place where it's icy half the year, whatever it might be. Not saying anything negative about another place, but I actually don't know what. When I came to California first, the statistic I heard was that 1/5 of the food consumed in the United States was produced in the Central Valley. So if anybody out there knows what the updated
It gets higher
statistic,
now.
Yeah, I would love to know what it is, because even at that, that's phenomenal. And we also export a lot of food on top of that.
Yes. And going back to the pantry partners, that also means that if the 2 times a month that the food bank does not get a family or a person through the whole month, they can go to other locations and get food as well.
Exactly. And the other part of that, what I think is really important about pantry partners, is that it's your local community supporting your local community. So when you're used to going to a certain place for some community activities or services, if we can add food to that at the same time, that is great. San Joaquin Delta College is going to have a Harvest Fest and Farmers Market coming up in the middle of the month. And we're going to bring fresh produce there for the students that need to have, because we have a lot of students at Delta College that are way below the poverty line.
And there's a food pantry there also.
There's a food pantry there, but they don't have access to many fresh fruits and vegetables. So we're going to add that to that particular day.
Yay, awesome. Do you know what the date of that event is?
I think it's the 15th of November, but
double check.
If that's a Thursday, I think I'm on. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Anything else that you'd like to add about the food bank?
I think I started talking about what it is like on a daily basis. It's just, there's no doubt about it, on certain days of the week, especially on a Monday, or at the end of a pay period, we always see larger lines first thing in the morning. Part of me would love to open the gates as soon as people are there, but at the same time, we're getting a lot of people. We depend on a huge number of volunteers. So, and our volunteers come from many different ways. So, went out, and I tried to go out there and greet volunteers. I can't make it every morning because I may be at a meeting, but I think it's important for all of us to say thank you to the volunteers. So we have volunteers that may not be in a position to be able to work anywhere else. And so they volunteer their time maybe through their agency that they're with. And so that's phenomenal. We have companies that come out, various agencies that will take one morning, maybe a few hours a month, and bring a group. And then we have the faith community that will come out and do the same thing. Then
Awesome.
We have Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions that come out and volunteer. And I mean, it's ideal. And it's also a great kind of spirit day and community building for an organization or a business.
Yes.
Then they come out and are proudly wear, whether it's their logoed shirts or whatever it might be. But it's a community.
Lots of
building.
realtors come out too.
Pardon me?
Lots of different realtor groups come
absolutely.
out too.
Exactly. And then
and anyone is welcome to volunteer.
Absolutely. And so they're there, they're getting everything ready, getting everything set up, because obviously that food has to be all stored at nighttime. Mm-hmm. And so it takes quite a while to set that up, to feed the hundreds and hundreds of people that come on a daily basis. So it's a job to get it going. We have some people who come and volunteer for security. It's just amazing. It just warms my heart every single day when I see people that are there, that are giving back. One person, I saw him there one day and I said, thank you so much. And then 2 days later, I saw him again. He goes, oh yeah, I can't remember how many days a month he volunteers, but it's 4 or 5 days a month he volunteers.
Great. That's awesome.
He's retired and he says, this is my way of giving back. So it's excellent. There's going to be something else I was going to say about the food bank, and I just interrupted myself. So see if you have another question and it'll come back to me.
Oh, I was just going to remind people that we need volunteers year round, just like you mentioned earlier, that hunger doesn't just happen at the holidays. And so any of our listeners are welcome to call in or go online to sign up to volunteer, and for the food giveaways as well.
Exactly.
You mentioned different organizations. My Lions Club will be there for the turkey box distribution in November.
Excellent.
We always do that.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, what I love is that we have lots of schools that gather food at this time of the year. And so we bring boxes or barrels to the schools. And I think this is really good. I mean, I've written a couple of notes to some teachers to just thank them for, basically helping our younger residents to, grow up with a sense of giving. And even if they don't have a lot, if they give a small amount, it is, there are so many stories of people who don't have much who give. And so that's always even more heartwarming, I have to say. But we're in the middle also, the KCRA Channel 3 has a Kids Can, and we participate in that.
Awesome.
And so we have lots of schools gathering food for us right now.
Great.
Regal Theatre Cinema downtown will have the Cantry coming up.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
They usually do that every year, and it's beautiful to
Yeah.
see it. And it's I don't know how high their ceiling is, but it's like
It's fabulous.
20 feet or more worth
Yeah.
of cans.
So that's getting ready to be kicked off. A friend of mine who works for Stockton Auto Glass reached out to me at a different email address because he'd heard I was at the food bank, and he said,
All right.
can I organize a turkey gathering?
That's probably Henry Peralta.
It is Henry.
Shout out to Henry.
A
He
big
was very big with Alzheimer's event also.
Yeah, big shout out to Henry. So I just, it's just heartwarming as people will just do that. And then, the insurance industry, NAFA, they have sponsored a golf tournament for us on an annual basis.
It's wonderful.
And, that's another great way for people to basically have fun together. But it raises really a very generous amount of money that allows us to buy food. And, so we absolutely rely on a huge amount of donations. I was interviewed the other day by the Collegian, which is the newspaper for San Joaquin Delta College. And, just saying, as people say, well, can you exist on volunteers? And it's a great question, but you can't exist on volunteers alone, because you also have to have a lot of money just to keep the refrigerators cold, the freezer frozen, lights on.
Pay the PG&E, yeah.
Pay the PG&E. I mean, and you have to have staff. There's no way that we can run, the millions of pounds of food that run through our doors on an annual basis without having paid staff. But we could not do it without our volunteers and without donations. So I'm so very grateful to so many organizations and cities that provide us with that kind of assistance.
Awesome. And did we give the web address? Let's give the web address for the food bank.
It's stocktonfoodbank.org.
Wonderful.
So stocktonfoodbank.org. And the phone number is 464-7369. 464-7369. Again, we're at 7 West Scotts Avenue in Stockton. That's 95203.
And also on Facebook. You can follow the food bank on Facebook.
You follow us on Facebook. So, we're just involved in a lot of different ways in order to be present in the community.
That's awesome. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. I know you're busy, and I know you have a lot of responsibility right now. I'm just so excited that you're the interim CEO at the food bank. We're very lucky to have you there. Let's just have you highlight again the dates of the Stuff the Bus, the date of the Run Walk, and any other dates you want to highlight.
And again, I want to just say that I'm honored to be there. We have an amazing board. You're among the board members. I mean, it's one of the things that I saw very quickly is a really strong board that cares deeply about the organization and cares deeply about the food bank and the clients that we serve. That there's just a huge amount of respect, and there's which is really important is that we also have a huge amount of respect for all of the clients that come in our doors. So things that are happening right now, from now on through November 17th, you can be at the Safeway either on Country Club or on Pacific Avenue in Stockton, and that is Feed the Need, and so donations can be made there. On November 16th is the first day of Stuff the Bus. That is great RTD-sponsored Stuff the Bus. They'll have their big gold, which is their anniversary bus, will be there. And you can bring food, for the most part, non-perishable food, along with frozen turkeys, and make the donation there on Friday the 16th. Then we'll be at Rancho San Miguel, which is on Charterway. And then on November 17th and 18th, we will be with the gold bus from RTD. We'll be at Food for Less on Hammer Lane. November 19th is the food box and turkey giveaway, and that all happens down at the 7 West Scotts Avenue, the main pantry for the emergency food bank. All you need to have is evidence of an address in San Joaquin County, and you will be able to take a box of food and a turkey. If you know people that are in need, please encourage them to come and get it. And there's no reason to be anything but just it. I don't want to say the word shame because that's, but it's people do it because they want to do it. So we want you to have a nice holiday dinner. November 22nd is the Run and Walk Against Hunger, and that will be down at Banner Island at the home of the Stockton Ports. And then on December 20th, we have the second food box giveaway and also turkeys. Again, that'll be over 4,000 turkeys will be given away. And so, it's hard to give shout outs to all the individual companies that participate, but we have, donations coming from so many different companies throughout our region, both food and non-food companies. And then the numbers of emails we get of people who want to do their own food drives, it's just heartening. It's seriously
wonderful.
Heartening. Yeah.
It's amazing. And we should give a shout out to all the staff, the volunteers, and the board. Everyone has a role to play. And as you said earlier, we can't do it on volunteers alone. However, everyone working together is what makes what we do possible.
Absolutely. We are stronger together than we are apart. I am a real believer in that. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else that you want to add?
I think that's it. I just food is being gathered. People are hungry throughout the year. Invite you to come down if you ever want to have a tour while I'm still there. Contact me. It's gmurphy@stocktonfoodbank.org. I'm happy to give you a tour. And it's best to do that in the mornings because that's when our pantry is open and that's when you can really see the work that's been done that you are supporting. So thank you, Stockton. Thank you, San Joaquin County. And Julie, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today to talk about the food bank.
I'm excited that you were here. The food bank is pivotal in our county. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I am the voice of Stockton. You are the voice of Stockton. We are the voice of Stockton. Let's make it a great day.